Hey hero fans, this is Todd. So it's time to do another figure. Today we're going to do Man-E-Faces, faces. Well, before we jump into Man-E-Faces, let's go ahead and look at some of the other figures that came in the past to work up to our new MasterVerse Man-E-Faces. So first we have the Man-E-Faces. I should probably add a light. It's time for the light. I'm going to use the AA light today. AA light. Let me go ahead and stick that over our camera. There we go. Ooh, bright light. So first we have the Man-E-Faces from the 80s. And this Man-E-Faces is kind of cool. As you turn, you have the human, and then you have the robot, and then you have the Man-E monster. Man-E monster! And as a kid, this was like, of course it still is in my top 11 figures. It's a pretty cool figure. Now, he came packed out two ways. This sword is not his sword, but he did come with a sword like that. Let me go ahead and just set him down here. And let's just go ahead and bring this right down. There we go. He did come with what we used to call Man-E weapons, and that's where you get these maroon weapons that came in a separate pack. Now, he still came with his signature orange gun, but then he also came with this cool rifle, the axe, the mace, a shield, and a little sword like I have on his hip right there. Now, many people will say that these two weapons also came with Wonder Bread He-Man. But who's to say it really came with Wonder Bread He-Man? I don't believe any weapons did, but these just ended up with him since they were extra parts that came with Man-E-Faces. So, let's go ahead and go to our next figure. The next one we got was the 2000X Man-E. Man-E! There he is. 2000X Man-E-Faces. And what sets this figure apart from the others, he had a giant gun. I didn't actually bring it out here to show you. What sets this figure apart is his tubes actually go into those blue pieces and not right into his skin. This one here, it's really bizarre because they have his brown skin. Some will say this was an orange jumpsuit, and it's kind of going up and over, so it's like, it's just, if you think about it, if it was supposed to be his skin, that's kind of gross at that point, that it's going over his helmet, and then the tubes are going into it. It's kind of strange. So it's hard to tell what's skin and what's orange jumper, or how you want to do this. So I used to imagine that all the orange you see on here is part of his jumper and only his face is bare. And that's it. Just his bare face. So, again, we got the orange. You could tell like it's a jumper if you want, or it could be his actual skin tone. You can see his face is the same color orange, so it's probably a good guess that it's the skin tone. And one thing that was really cool at this particular figure that I really liked was not only did his head turn, so we have man, robot, and monster, so it's the same order, is his head actually turned too, which was something totally new, was having his head be able to rotate with the face in the right position and not change. So 2000X, that was really cool. They gave that to us. So here you go, the 2000X. Pretty cool looking figure. They did make a secondary color of him too. This is the primary color they gave him. So there is that fun figure. The next, we got classics. Oh, my favorite Man-E-Faces. They finally did the skin tone right, so it's not an orange jumper anymore. And they actually had a contest, a vote. It's not really a contest, a vote, fan vote, on what colors they wanted him. And this is the colors that won first. And then there was going to be a secondary release someday where they were going to do the other colors that was the second choice. And the reason why these colors are so cool to me is, let me pull it off the wall here, is as you guys know, my top 11 figures, these are my 5 favorite heroic figures. And look at the way they made Man-E-Faces in this box art from the 80s. And so they made the toy look like the box art from the 80s. And it's like, we finally got the figure we kept dreaming of when we were kids, seeing the back of the packages, and they actually produced them. Now, if you notice, the eyes in the back of the package are black, and the eyes in the toy was black originally, but I painted mine white, just 'cause I wanted it to match the original toy that I had, which had the white eyes. So I actually painted my guy's eyes white instead of black, but originally it's supposed to be black in the cross art cell, so that's why they made it look like that. So that was so cool that the Four Horsemen designed it after the actual package art. And you can tell it's supposed to be a skin in the package art too, not an orange jumpsuit. Anyway, so that is why this is my favorite Man-E-Faces, because it matches the card art we saw as a kid. There's a couple weird things about it, like these shoulders go into skin with nothing. So it's like, well, that's kind of weird that his shoulders are just going right into his chest. So that's a little bizarre. But other than that, really cool. And he has, let's see, man, robot, monster, it's in the right order. And his head turns like the 2000X one did too. And this comes off, and you can change out the tumbler for a different head. So he came with an extra head. And a lot of customizers online actually made multiple heads so you could have fun swapping them out. So it's secondary head. There we go. Hold on a second. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here. There we go. I didn't quite get it in there right, but it's close. You can either be He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, or you could be Orko, which actually matches coloring nice, or you could be Skeletor. And one of the common things to do was to paint this head blue, make this head with square eyes or something else, and then paint this glow in the dark, and then it could be Faker or Scareglow. I don't know why that, I just put it on wrong, I think. Oh well. I'm going to put his other head back on, because I like the other one better. Now what I did do, as you can see, I added a small little ring on here, which lifts up the head just a little bit, because otherwise his chin was just buried into the mask. And so it just raises his head just a little bit to the right spot. And then I sanded the top of this off to match. And then after that, I painted the top of this with a slight little black paint, just so you can't see it. That's why it didn't fit on there. I didn't orientate it right. Alright. I'm probably not going to put it on. Alright, I did get it right the first time. Hooray! And there he is, back to normal. Back to normal! It's a bummer they didn't make the secondary color one, but if they're only make one, this is the one I wanted that matches the cross cell, so I was really happy. Alright, after that, we got the Super7 version, and this is based on Filmation. His gun is much smaller in this one, as you can see. See, look at the gun size difference between the Mattel and the Super7 one. And what's cool about this one is he's based on Filmation. So it's kind of fun. It's a Filmation version, a little bit darker tan, but there's no knob to turn his head. So to turn his head, you got to reach in with your finger and face and switch it over like that. And again, we got robot and then monster. Ugh. So what I did was I carefully broke this helmet off. So I can get it back off again. You can do it. I know it snapped on really good earlier today when I was... There we go. Come on off there. There we go. Now this is not made to be removed. So when I first removed it, there was a bunch of paint or glue right there holding it on. So I sanded it carefully and painted it blue to match. And so now I can turn his head much easier instead of sitting there trying. I wish they would have made a knob or something back here. That would have worked too. Just to change his heads around. But anyway, still really cool design. I'm happy with it. This is not removable though, I don't believe. No, it's not. It's stuck on there. But now I can pull this helmet off. I can arrange it just right and then pop the helmet back on. There we go. Dun, ta, da. I didn't have to do a lot of customization to this one except for that head removal piece. So there you go. Pretty cool figure. There he is. And then we got the Man-E-Faces from Origins. Origins Man-E-Faces. Now this little blue piece I added on, this is actually from Iron Man, but it fits great in the gun. What's weird is, look at this. It looks like it's the exact same gun that we got from Super7. I guess maybe there's some slight differences, but it looks really, really similar. It's like this fin's a little taller on this one, but there's not much difference between these two guns. Which I think is kind of funny because this figure is obviously a lot smaller, but I'm surprised they used Super 7's gun for a Mattel figure. Anyway, they gave him a jaundice yellow, which is funny because before that we got this orange, and now we got this jaundice yellow, so it's still not the right skin tone. It's not human skin tone, but stand, man, stand. Alright, so I kind of wish they would have gone with the skin tone color one, but I guess skin tone one's being released. In fact, the skin tone one also has the hands skin tone too, which with those weird bumps in the back is kind of weird. I kind of wish they would have gone like they did with Classics, where he just has blue on the top of his hands and then skin tone elsewhere. But you know, I can paint that myself too, if they don't fix that detail. All right, let's go and check his head and see what order they're in. So we got man, robot, monster in the correct order, and he also is allowed to turn his head. So ever since 2000X came out, they've pretty much made that work universal everywhere. Now I did try to rip his head off on one of these. I don't know if it's this one or a different one. I always like to buy 3 Man-E-Faces. I like to actually pretend like they were separated by their 3 personas. And Slampo have taken this a step further, where they've actually made a robotic looking body for the robot one, and then a monster looking body for the monster one, which looks really cool if you do it right. But I just changed the heads and have all 3 of them out there like they were separated somehow, and they got to recombine. I don't know. And this also goes into his costume, not into his skin, which is way cooler. Alright. Now it is time. It is time to open the MasterVerse one. MasterVerse. Now, MasterVerse, you can already see they gave him some pink tubes, which is one of the variants they had originally with the toy line. But let's take a look at the back here. It says, Man-E-Faces, when Castle Grayskull's shattered, New Eternia, the man of adventure shattered with it. Now known as Man-E-Faces, his curse forces him into the faces of many beings, from human to monster to robot, each with his own memory and agenda. Little does he know the combined memories of his many faces are a map for restoring Eternia's glory. Bum bum bum. Alright. And it shows other figures in the line, which we saw yesterday. So let's go ahead and get him out of here. Let's get out of here, man. Oh, I also got the weapons from Classics that were from the special weapons pack that was made for the weapons holder for the castle. And they actually had brown ones to match the Man-E-Faces Man-E weapons. I wish they wouldn't have done that though, because the brown is just awful on those. It's all sticky and yucky and it comes off sometimes. Man-E! Dun, dun, dun. Now I've heard a lot of good things about this figure, but we'll get my take on it in a minute of how I feel about Man-E-Faces. He does come with this different faces for disguise. That's kind of creepy, kind of cool. Reminds me of Maskatron when I was a kid. Maskatron. So you can see he's got a skull face, a blue face, looks like Keldor kind of, and then he has this other superhero looking face. Now this is from what's known as the Gar race. The Gar race was a bunch of blue beings according to the 2000X storyline. Now it does have a living hinge on here. I'm not going to fold it yet. I'm first going to heat it up and then fold it carefully. So I'm afraid if I try to use the living hinge, it's going to end up just breaking on me. That's weird. It has an eye that's like Triclops' eye. Interesting. And it has 2 bumps on here. I imagine that probably ties in with his armor somewhere. We'll find out in a few minutes. He has extra punching hands. Punching hands. And now let's look at the man, the machine, the monster, the faces of Man-E-Faces. All right, articulation. He has ankle articulation. And that's not a pin there. That is part of the sculpt. He turns at the boot cut. Double jointed knees that are... You can hear that ratcheting sound. Or not. They're ratcheted. And then he has an upper thigh cut. He has a regular leg movement. He has his twist at the waist. He has a bend. Ooh, works really good on this guy. And as you guys know, I like when they have some kind of armor or something right along the same seam like that, because it hides that articulation. And I like when they can hide articulation like that. That's really cool. Then he has shoulder movement, bicep cut, double jointed elbows, and I don't think his head turns. Nope, his head does not turn. No, they took away that. Let's take a look at his faces. Human, robot, monster. They got him. Oh, look at that monster head. Look at that monster head. I like that. The human head's okay. Looks pretty typical of a lot of their faces. The robot head, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm liking that dark silver, but it is a nice touch, something different, I guess. And then the monster face, that is a really cool looking monster face. But again, this outside is not turned, just like the original toy. He has some strange stuff going on with him. It's like this looks human, but this does not. So it's almost like this whole upper half is his armor, not just tubes around his skin. So it's going into that. So it's almost like they have the... Let's look at his face again, see if it matches the skin tone. Yeah, I kind of wish if they were going to do this, they do a two-tone different oranges. One that matches the skin down here, here, and here. And then on top, make this a little bit different shade of orange. Of course, then I'd probably complain. Look, they didn't match the orange. So I guess no matter what, Mattel loses, right? Sorry, Mattel. And there's a spot to hook on his backpack of faces. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and close this without heating it up. I know, it's a bad... you can see how white that is now. And that just hooks on there. Just kind of weird to have a giant backpack of faces on you. Hey, you with the faces. Alright, let's go ahead and try to see if we can use these faces now that I've sealed this shut. Ooh, there we go. Let's start with the robot, the human face up here. Do they even come out, or are they just there for looks? Hey, I got it. Weird, there's a little skull underneath there looking thing. That's funny. Alright, so I'm guessing these face plates don't just sit on top of there, but I'm guessing somehow this top of his head comes off. There we go. There we go. Oh, no way. Each face is completely removable. That is creepy. So you can preload the faces you want on there. Weird. So that's a little bit more than I was expecting. So if they would have put in the wrong order, you could have changed the order whenever you wanted to. You know what'd be funny is to buy 3 of these and put the same face all the way around. Have like Man-E human as you rotate it around all the way. Or Man-E robot. Just if your friends came over to visit and they're rotating it and rotating it and it's the same head over and over. Look at that, his little face on there, little alien face. Whoop, 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 whoop. Bob, 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 bob. Bob, 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 bob. Alright. Okay, let's see what faces we want on there. I guess I could put 3 human faces. That'll be kind of fun. You will put the blue Gar face on there. You know what? That's where the human face used to go. Let's put the human face back on there. Might as well leave that in the right spot. And then we'll put the heroic weird looking face there. And then the Gar blue face here. Here. Where's that helmet? There it is. Let's put that helmet back on. Zoop. Oh, it matches. Zoop. Dun, dun, dun. It's more like an actor face with that one, huh? Like he has a fake mustache on or something. I actually like those 3 faces. It's kind of cool. Alright. Let's go ahead and compare him to other figures and see which ones I like best. It'll be a little harder to tell now that there's so many figures out here. So we'll have to do a process of elimination. So we got a lot of figures to line up here. Oh, I'm just going to move this cardboard out of the way. It's in the way. You guys can see my shadow weavers from last video. Okay. Let's pull this back. This is going to be tough for me because I like Man-E-Faces a lot. And these are some great representations of a lot of these Man-E-Faces throughout time. So I will pick the one that I like least first. And Origins, that's you. I don't like your yellow. It just drives me crazy. Drives me crazy! So I'll have to take and see when the new one comes out. So you are at the bottom. 2000X, as much as I love this one, and it's got the tubes in the right places for the first time and a rotating head, the lack of articulation, you gotta go. So you are my second least favorite. So now we're down to these 4. Now, I kind of don't really want to judge the Filmation one because I'm not a huge fan of the Filmation cartoon, which I know is kind of crazy to hear. And it's just not enough detailing for me. So Filmation one, you are 3rd from the bottom of the list, so you got to go too. So now we're down to these 3. And this is tough because here we have the original. The original! And the original was so much fun as a kid. But original, you are my 4th from the bottom because of lack of articulation. I know back in the day you were awesome. And I had a lot of fun, good times and memories with you. But you are the 4th from the bottom. So we're at our 2 runner-ups. Dun, 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 the 2 runners-up. This is tough. This is tough. Here we go. So, we have the removable face changes. Oh, so cool. And we have the whole entire barrel change. The face change masks are really cool. But to tell you the truth, I probably would not do a lot of mask changes. I really wouldn't. So even though it's really cool and stuff, and even the back of the box talks about its 3 personas, well, now we have 6 personas. So that's not that big of a selling point to me. So now I got to break it down even further. When it comes to coloring, though, the Classics is the right color. I mean, look at that. That is the color he should always be. Skin tone and dark purple, just like the cross art. So MasterVerse, you got to go. I'll have to show you his big gun, too. It's got a big, giant, massive gun. Poof. Anyway, you and your massive gun have to go. And so, in this video, Classics did win out. I know with yesterday I said the Shadow Weaver MasterVerse was my favorite, but in this case it is actually the Classics one. Alright, but I'll bring MasterVerse back for a second, talk about some other cool aspects. His armor is all shiny, which is kind of weird because now his underpants are shiny, but his upper pieces are not quite as shiny. You take a look at his shoulders, just the lines are shiny, not the actual shoulder itself. Cool figure, but it does not stand up to the Classics. But it is cool, don't get me wrong, but not as cool as the Classics was. It's fun too because the Classics one did a great job hiding articulation. Let's just for the elbow right here. The knee, not so much. They didn't do a good job hiding it there, nor the points on the bottom. But all right, do these fit in there? Now I'm gonna get it stuck. Of course, I can just take his face off too. You know what? I never did rip his head off to see if it's even removable. Oh! His head shot into the other room and down the hall. I'll be right back. You guys can watch me run back from the hall. That is just too funny. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, I got it. All right. Yep. Back to the table. Oh, interesting. Look. It's got a D joint like the old channel selectors used to have when we were kids. And that actually turns down below. I'm not sure why they had to do the D spot like that. But that's pretty cool. Alright, so now let's see if you can fit. It's a loose fit. Oh, the knob. The knob. No, it doesn't come apart. Alright, I'm going to take the knob out of here. I think it's going to be too tall. Oh, yep. The knob is too small to fit through the hole. Or the knob's too big to fit through the small hole. And it's kind of wobbly too. It'd take a lot of O-rings or such to put on there. But that is a possibility. A little bit of work. You could make that work on top and have an interchangeable face on your Classics. And that could be kind of fun. Alright. Let's put them back together. Crazy. In light of that, I bet you the human face is supposed to go right here, because that would be the default position. And then the monster goes last, and the robot goes there. Ugh. Oh. I guess I messed something up there, didn't I? Oh. Where do they find these people? There we go. Hooray. All right. Well, I guess I should do a size comparison. Next to Too Bad, he's pretty itty bitty. And then next to, let's see, Beast Man, he's not too much smaller. And then next to a Classics, he's a little bit taller. All right, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching and good journey. Rah!
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it!